I'm the host of Discover the Oak Ridges Moraine video series, Susan Lloyd Swale. This video series is a journey in learning about the Oak Ridges Moraine through visual exploration and interviews with experts. The Oak Ridges Moraine, known as Ontario's rain barrel, is a major source of groundwater for the Greater Toronto Area and the lifeblood of Ontario's Greenbelt. But as you'll see in these videos, it is so much more. Welcome to episode 5. How does the Oak Ridges Moraine Conservation Plan work? In this episode of Discover the Moraine, I interview Victor Doyle, former provincial planner known as the architect of the Greenbelt Plan, to talk about the provincial plan, municipal implementation, and the role of citizens. We are here today in Stouffville at the entrance to the Rouge National Urban Park, one of the largest urban parks in North America. The northern part of this park is also in the Oak Ridges Moraine Plan area. Joining me today to talk about the Oak Ridges Moraine and how it's protected is land use planner Victor Doyle. So, I've got a few questions to ask you. Let's start at the beginning. So how is the Oak Ridges Moraine protected?
So in Canada and Ontario, we're fortunate that our government structures allow us to protect land through legislation and policy. And so for the Oak Ridges Moraine, the government of the day enacted the Oak Ridges Moraine Conservation Act. So there's actual law that enshrines the protection of the moraine and enables the creation of the Oak Ridges Moraine Conservation Plan. And so the plan then is a legal document. It's approved by cabinet, not just a minister. And so it goes through a lot of public debate if they ever want to change it, as would the legislation. And the plan, via the Planning Act, has requirements that all decisions must conform or be consistent with the Oak Ridges Moraine Conservation Plan. And then there's a series of oversights to try to make sure that happens, and actual penalties, heavy financial penalties, if people don't follow the rules of the plan. So there's a number of provincial plans, and they sort of sit at a higher level than the municipal official plans that many people are familiar with. And the legislation requires that the municipal official plans must be consistent or conform with the provincial plan. It's the higher order document in the hierarchy. And so municipalities, the Ontario Municipal Board, ministers and others, any decisions they make have to conform with the plan. And one of the questions is whether that always happens, but people are doing their best.
So what's lost when the plan isn't followed? And how is it the municipalities follow the plan? So if I'm a developer, I bring in a plan to the planning desk to build a subdivision on the Oak Ridges Moraine, what happens with that plan?
Yeah, so in terms of the plan not being followed, I guess there's a couple of obvious implications. First is things like wetlands or could be paved over or impacted by the development. Forest could be lost. It could impact movement for species like salamanders, let's say, that move between ponds and forests across fielded landscapes, fields even. At a larger level, if the plan's not followed, it's sort of like a death by 1,000 cuts. If we start to get many decisions that don't reflect the plan, then the overall integrity of the plan is lost. People, and particularly municipal councils and developers, feel more able to ignore portions of it, and the effect of it is weakened overall. So it's a cascading effect if we get multiple decisions that don't reflect the plan.
Right. Okay.
So how do applications get tested against the plan? So I'm in municipality X, and a developer comes to the counter or their consultant with an application. The municipal planning staff will have a look at the application, the relevant supporting studies, whether it's on hydrogeology or natural heritage or soils or whatever. And the Conservation Authority as well will receive those studies. And so they do an analysis and assess it against the requirements of the plan and draw up a report to their council after public meetings and input as well. So people get notice and can input. And that staff report will provide a recommendation as to whether the development is consistent with the plan, whether it needs to be modified, whether it's a flagrant violation of the rules, in which case it should be refused by the council. So those are the three sort of tranches that applications would fall into. So in Ontario, we have what we call a planning court. It used to be called the Ontario Municipal Board, OMB. It was renamed the Local Planning Appeal Tribunal in 2018. There's different ways to get to the planning tribunal. So on the developer side, if a council refuses them, their application, or if they don't make a decision within a certain amount of time that's set out in the rules, they can appeal either council's decision or failure to make a decision within that time limit to the LPAT. And then citizens and municipality and others could join as parties to that hearing. On the flip side, if a council supported a development that didn't conform to the Moraine plan and local citizens or environmental groups took issue with that, they can appeal council's decision to the LPAT and go there and raise their case as to why the application should not proceed.
So there are opportunities, if an error is made in interpreting the plan, there are opportunities to get that corrected.
There are, but it's a really tough row to hoe. The planning tribunal is notoriously pro-development. The developers have huge resources in terms of consultants and reports, and it's very difficult for citizens to challenge decisions of council, which are also made by elected representatives of the municipality at the LPAT. It has happened. The much better route to go is to try to influence council, and that's where citizens can play a really important role. The Planning Act requires that they get notice of these applications, and so it's really incumbent upon people, and the best way to influence things is to become involved, make your views known, write a letter, attend an open house or a public meeting, go to council and let them know your views on this. And it's important to do that because if you don't participate, the planning rules are that you can't appeal to the tribunal if you disagree with what council did if you did not participate. So that's really key for people.
So active citizens' voices are really key to making sure that the plan is upheld going forward.
Citizens play a crucial role in holding municipal councils to account and giving them the courage to interpret the plan in the way it was supposed to be and uphold the values of it.
So thank you very much for joining us today, Victor. This has been a really interesting and informative discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Learn more about how you can play a role in protecting the Oak Ridges Moraine for future generations. Join us for a new episode to discover the Moraine. There's lots to choose from.